Hey, so there's no denying that we live in a weird world. Rules are always changing. Things are always happening that we don't like and appreciate, but not everything weird is bad. We've been MIA for the last couple of months, and it is because, hey, I'm Matt Logan from Maddie's Movie Mix, and it's been a while. One of the weird things in life is for the past probably, most of this year, really, the thing I do to pay the bills that I have, some people call it a job, whatever, it hasn't gone the best. It's been turbulent, and it went away a couple of months ago, so I've really had to navigate some things, get really aggressive on some things, and so I started a company called Shiny Brand. So you can look it up at shinybrand.com. I came up with that acronym SHINY as a teaching to teach people the weird, bad, negative things that happen and how that we can hold strong. Well, actually, that's the first letter, strong. Second one is hope, influential, necessary, you. I'm not going to talk a lot about that here, but I thank you for watching. We're having fun with the podcast. We're going to continue to do about 3 videos a week. I hope you enjoy. I hope to hear from you. We'll see you soon. Hey, so there seems to be a misconception that we are experts.
That's a pretty big stretch.
That's a very big stretch. In fact, we've said many, many times over the last few years now, almost. Like it's almost been 3 years.
Sure has.
It's been fun.
It's been a blast.
It's about conversation. It's about not being an expert of anything other than me being an expert idiot.
Yeah, we've learned one thing. Actually, it could be 2 things, 'cause we're both just armchair idiots.
Yes, and it's just, we do this for fun.
We sure
it's
do.
a blast.
It sure
I love
is.
the cinematic experience, the popcorn, which I don't eat a lot of popcorn, but you get the idea. The snacks,
I do.
The soda,
I
the
do the
seats,
peanut M&Ms.
There you go. And I do the nachos with jalapenos.
It's not your business.
Titanium
Tuesday.
Exactly.
When people drove into them.
So, hey, this is just a chat. It's opinion, and we have fun with it.
Yeah, it could be a fact. Just kidding.
Might not be.
Fight me.
Exactly. So anyway, there it is.
We still got to be more hostile to each other.
The Crow
The Crow.
was on your birthday. Well,
The year.
The
year of. And, there was one movie to epitomize what I thrive for in my life. It would be everything in the themes of The Crow.
really?
No, not at all.
Because Devil's Night and, burning the city down.
Hey, a boy can dream.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, we're talking about the film that Brandon Lee was killed filming.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I'm sure you do.
I remember the news. I remember someone coming up to me like, hey, did you hear?
Yeah. That would have been huge.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So did they get done filming everything? Or was it just...
No.
Okay.
So they used a stunt double. They
what I
tried to
thought.
use a mask, but it kind of freaked people out. So they
Yeah.
did what would have been state-of-the-art, revolutionary CGI
Oh, yeah.
back then. And they did some, creative angles and
Yeah.
lighting and stuff like that to finish some scenes.
Which makes sense.
Got the blessing of his fiancée,
Yeah.
Eliza Hutton.
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty interesting thing. Michael Massey, who shot Brandon Lee, didn't do any acting for a year
Yeah.
after that.
I can only imagine what that would be like. Just... Because I'm assuming it was a prop thing gone wrong, or...
Did you watch the film? Let's ask,
I did watch the film.
Okay, well, at least there's that.
Yeah. It was, so I told
So-
my dad I was watching The Crow, and he was excited for me because of the music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good music.
Yep.
They actually, this was pitched to the studio, Paramount. I believe it was. Yeah, Paramount. And as a musical.
Oh, really?
And they laughed.
I don't know about that.
And so they ended up,
This-
Brandon Lee and the director, Alex, they came and into the picture then and said, "Nah, this is our vision."
Here's the thing: is I could very well see this switch into a musical. Because where's the Barber one with
Edward Scissorhands?
No,
no,
the same guy.
Yeah.
Night Barber Killer of the Nights.
I don't think that's it.
No, it's not. But to me, I don't know how it can give me vibes from a movie I've never seen. The only closest thing I've ever gotten to was watching The Office, where in the show they did a play of that barbershop, and it's like, oh, I could see where they would do that with this.
Really?
I could have.
How so?
I just love musicals. So
yeah,
if you dream it,
that doesn't mean
if you build it, they will come.
Okay.
Herds of singers in the background.
Like this was actually a raven, not a crow, by the way. Speaking of birds. So we're talking about the film that Johnny Depp was in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nightmare.
Ed Wood? No,
that
wasn't it.
Ed Wood.
What was that one? Why am I thinking Ed Wood?
See, the only thing I can think about with Ed Wood is a different version of Edward Scissorhands that is not PG or even PG-13.
Be like a NC-17,
Yeah.
which The Crow 5 times was NC-17. It took them 5 times to cut it and edit it to get it into a R-rated film.
Oh, really?
By the way, yeah.
It's a lot of blood.
That's the segue.
That was a segue. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know what that film was. Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sweeney Todd. I don't know
Barbershop on Elm Street. I could see that doing something very similar
to a hard
that.
left on that one. Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but I think that The Crow would have set up the look for something like that.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
I mean,
Right.
So,
that's correct. Sweeney Todd probably came after.
yeah, it did.
Inspired.
Whether it was inspired or not, it
Yeah.
certainly, I can see what you're saying. It kind of has a feel of this, but yeah. They didn't have money for the car chases and stuff, so they did miniatures.
Yeah. It's so funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of... have you ever seen Sin City?
Nope.
It kind of gave me that vibe of
Okay.
Sin City. Sin City came later, but
Yeah.
it sort of had some of those colors, and I don't know, something felt similar.
Yeah. I mean, this movie definitely feels like it set up a lot of the movies to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did, and I don't know if it would have done as well as it did had Brandon Lee not passed away and and all that hype with it. I mean, maybe it would have, because he's hot off of Rapid Fire.
Okay.
Rapid Fire, while it didn't do great, I think in the theaters,
Right.
it was gaining momentum and stuff.
Yeah.
On VHS or whatever.
Right.
I think I owned it at one time, quite honestly.
interesting.
Yeah.
On VHS.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what VHS is anymore.
I know. You were talking about remake.
Yeah.
It's 30 years.
Right.
So Jason Momoa,
What a guy.
2018,
Yeah.
was talking about being involved in the Crow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Along with Luke Evans.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But Luke Evans kind of pulled the plug on it, on it, and he said, I don't feel like I'm worthy to be involved in it.
Which is fair.
Stuff. So,
In movies like this,
it's tough.
it's the question of, does it need a remake? And like watching
No.
it back.
I'll say even.
Right.
Like,
Let's get to that R rating. No, it doesn't. And so it's just interesting because, there's so many times where it's so clear that Hollywood is just ready to say, yep, we don't have any ideas, so let's just remake things and destroy them and
Hollywood
make
is
us
in trouble.
appreciate the original even more.
And we're starting to see it, but
Yeah.
The crow that was attacking
Yeah.
at the end too, that was a mechanical crow.
Creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah.
There's some creepy stuff in here for sure.
It is a dark film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that makes sense.
Before the shooting began, even, and during filming, even, Brandon Lee was sort of obsessed with death. He bought a hearse, his own hearse, and he would drive around and visit like famous graves.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot say I'm fascinated by death.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm gonna live forever.
Well, that's
Not on Earth, but
that's right.
you know, I digress.
Yes,
We
we do
won't
that
go down.
frequently.
That happens.
Yeah.
But this was littered with a lot of problems. This film. One of the guys burned, not to death, but got burned pretty bad because his crane that for moving something or doing whatever hit a live power line, started him on fire. I guess he got burned. There was a hurricane that came through and destroyed the outdoor set, so they had to move everything indoors.
That's
And
crazy.
so that changed the whole look of the film,
Yeah.
you know. So
And then you start talking about
and the
Is this-
coke.
the coke.
They were doing lines of coke all the time on breaks and
I
stuff.
mean, what else would you do? in
Somebody would sneeze
1994?
on set, and the joke was Brandon Lee would say, "Oh, there goes $50."
That's crazy.
Yeah,
What a world.
yeah, it's wild.
And we wonder. I don't wonder why. And it's called classic.
It is a
They're
cult
called
classic.
classic.
Yeah,
I feel like some of those things often align, and not that stuff is good, but it's interesting what happens with those types of settings and the movies that are created through it.
right. And you could talk Hollywood thinking that they're invincible and all these other things, and they're littered with so many problems.
Yeah.
And they just constantly, I should say, pat themselves on the back for all this stuff and stupid things.
didn't
And
say
it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Trying to shove things down people's throats. Theaters are dying.
Yeah.
Hollywood is dying.
Yeah.
And they wonder why.
Right.
But anyway,
I digress.
Another digression.
We should have a segment of the podcast. That's just
We
called
should just right.
I digress.
Exactly.
What about the end scene where there's the guy fell on the spike and there's this pools of blood coming out that was clearly fake, but you knew it was like supposed to look like it's coming from the guy.
Right. Yeah, and then the spike was through his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all cinematic. If you don't get the spike through the mouth, then what's the point of having the spikes?
Yeah, exactly. That's I know.
That's 101 for me.
Some fun things though. Cameron Diaz was offered the role of Shelley.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we have also two. You maybe have heard their names. I'm not really sure, but two actors that were also offered the role that turned them down.
Bill
That would
Murray
be
and
River Phoenix and Christian Slater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they turned it down. They didn't want to do something that dark.
Yeah.
River Phoenix, of course, I believe died not long after this of overdose.
Yeah.
But
They didn't wanna
Christian
get too
Slater
dark.
more. I know exactly. But Christian Slater was kind of doing, if I remember right, more of the comedic type, lighter stuff.
Right. Which
and-
just would have been. And back in the day, you didn't see people switch back and forth as frequently as what you see now. People like
Correct.
to stay in their
Yes,
lanes,
exactly.
which is interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting for sure. There was a lot of different things that came out of this, gun control things on set.
Yeah.
Spawned from this. A lot of different weird things with Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. Bruce was 5 years older than Brandon when he died. Weird circumstances. Just very bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, I guess.
Yep. And if I were to comment something, yep. I was going to say die by the bullet, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know
you're
the
living
phrasing is the-
right. You're living in that kind of area and realm, and Bruce Lee, it's still a little suspect, but He basically died of some kind of aneurysm,
Yeah.
I believe. But they also found some interesting drug in his system, and so it was supposedly prescribed.
But it's unknown.
But I guess I can't remember. I mean, I'd have to really look.
That seems what
it's
one
just a
would call a
conversation.
paradox.
Yeah. And then, it's weird because it wasn't in the script for him to be shot.
Right.
And that was changed, and
Yeah.
so he shot in the abdomen. They didn't take it real serious
Really?
at first. Yeah. Like,
Do you think I was faking it?
no.
Or is it take him
didn't-
getting shot in
It
the-
didn't seem, because it wasn't a bullet.
Okay.
A bullet didn't hit
Oh.
him. It was like, I'd have to look it up again. I read about it like a couple of weeks ago, probably.
Yeah.
Before we decided to do The Crow, I
Right.
had seen that this new one was coming out. Read a couple things. But anyway, I remember reading something, though, about like it was the projectile that was shot was the blank projectile, like it was a packing of some kind.
Oh.
It wasn't like
weird.
a lead bullet.
That's so strange.
So it did pierce his abdomen, but it wasn't like I guess the pain wasn't very bad. It wasn't bleeding super bad, if I remember reading it correctly. And so they didn't, it just,
well, plus the standards were so much different.
it
of,
was,
like,
yeah,
health and
I mean, it
safety.
was right. It was just very different. And
Huh.
so I don't think they rushed him to the hospital like they should have,
Right.
if I remember right. But yeah, it very interesting. Not saying he could have been saved
Right.
because of the wounds that he did have,
Right.
but it was certainly something that was just, it
Yeah.
wasn't a point blank bullet shot,
Yeah.
so just wild.
And Ernie Hudson was in this film.
And he was.
Yeah. Is he a good actor?
No.
Yeah. That was my question after watching this film.
I've never thought he's a good actor.
No, that's what
I think he's a decent guy and
Yeah.
he's a decent actor.
Right.
Personally, but I mean he definitely adds to things that he's in.
Yeah.
But he, as far as his acting skill, no way,
Yeah.
man.
This is crazy.
I
It makes
can't-
sense why I haven't seen him in much besides like these reboots of Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Well, he's in the Champions too.
Oh, yeah.
Low budget deal there, but yeah. Anyway, that's what I have.
That's all I have. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll watch it again.
I ordered the 30-year anniversary.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What all comes with that? Oh, there's a squeak. Puberty
There's
is
a
real.
mouse.
Puberty is real.
Finally at 30 years old. No comments on your tiny
Yeah.
mind.
Well,
See?
I think that is all I have. My tiny mind. You were going to say something, and then I digressed, and then you digressed. Together,
And I think we just need to rest. If you have a comment, let's hear it. Snide remark? Definitely.
you can send us an email at legitq@maddysmoviemix.com.
Peace. Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.